Some of you may be thinking to yourself right now, hey there, who's that girl up there on the stage with Erik Holmberg, founder and sole proprietor of JStark? And the answer is, I'm Jess. I'm actually the co-proprietor of JStark. That's me.
It's true. I had the original flash of inspiration for the brand, and for a while it was just me toiling away in my tiny apartment and hoping I could meet all my deadlines. But then 3 years ago, Jess said to me, "You need help, and I need a new career path, and I'm not going anywhere, so let me help you."
And now that I've been on board for a while, something I find myself worrying about, and something I'm sure you've all been thinking to yourself recently is, man, is it just me, or has anyone else noticed Erik being super creepy with his comments on the JStark Instagram feed these days?
And yeah, you're probably noticing a lot more, "You look fucking gorgeous," or "Get it, girl," or even the random "Yes, queen" from us in your comments.
Also me, Jess, co-proprietor of JStark, who has access to and is engaged in all social media platforms. Besides Twitter, we don't do Twitter.
Now, for those of you who have no idea who we are, we're Erik and Jess. We're the owners of a local retail shop called J Stark, where we make all the bags and leather goods right in the back. For the last 3 years, we, along with a staff of 6 other folks, give or take, have called 208 Cummings Street home.
Losing our beloved first home, our sunny little retail spot on the corner of Cumming and Cannon Street, is actually at the heart of what we've come here to talk to you about today. We want to let you in on the really gut-wrenching moments that we've come up against while running this business for the last 6 years.
There have been a lot of high points in the 6 years we've been doing this, but we've also hit a ton of lows. When we do, we try to seek out a little clarity by sitting down at our kitchen table and walking ourselves through a little exposure therapy exercise we like to call, "Honestly, babe, what's the worst that could happen?"
We do this exercise a lot, because we've discovered that visualizing failure reminds you of what you're really fighting for. 2 Julys ago, when it was 11 million degrees outside and no one was walking into our store, at the end of what felt like the 86th sale-less day in a row, we were like, what the hell are we doing with our lives?
So we sat down at the kitchen table, we pulled out all our spreadsheets and logged into all our accounts, and we ran through our little exercise. What really is the worst thing that could come from a JStark supernova? We run completely out of money, right? Then we just go back to Cleveland and live with my mom and dad.
When you do this exercise, you've got to allow yourself to get really vivid with it. Figure out all the gory, will be stuck in joyless jobs and eating top ramen for years to come details of a life where your dream has been lost. Feel it in your gut. Feel that pain that feels like hitting rock bottom.
Is being broke for a while, living with your mom and dad, and maybe going back to coding enough to ignite you toward persevering? Because for us, it definitely was. We left our careers and our parents' houses for a reason. It never looks so bad, but it also doesn't look so great.
And when you've allowed yourself to get really introspective and you've worked through all the scariest points of what's the worst that could happen, you'll have discovered something about yourself. You'll have learned what your breaking point is and exactly how much it is you're willing to endure to avoid it.
Luckily, it didn't stay slow after that first fateful July. But we'd gained the tools we needed to pluck ourselves up and face the next major production crisis. And sure enough, a prominent retailer who'd recently placed a 200-bag order emailed on the eve of our shipment date to cut that order by 60%.
And we took a several $1,000 gulp. So again, we said to ourselves, what's the worst that could possibly come of this? So we've got 100 extra DOP kits lying around. It's still 100 very sellable DOP kits. Let's run a fucking sale. We'll do a giveaway. Problem generally solved.
Of course, no single problem is ever going to make you fully equipped for how you'll feel when you get the next bit of bad news, but it definitely prepares you for how you'll respond. When we received the email about losing our lease due to major construction on our little retail shop, at first we both felt like we had the wind knocked out of us.
Honestly, I had the same feeling as if I'd been dumped. I didn't know how we'd survive it, if we'd be able to succeed without our shop at 208 Cumming Street. I was pretty sure we'd go out of business, but we ran through our scenario out loud at our kitchen table and we rediscovered something important. We are at the heart of J-Stark.
It wasn't the physical building that had brought in all our guests and friends. It was the bags and the people who were making and selling them. So we took a minute to mourn the loss of the shop we loved so dearly, and then we pushed forward. Because the worst thing that could have happened just did, and now we knew how to not let it swallow us.
When you consider the worst things that could happen, you've always got to access whether the answer is just the end. Is the best thing now just to throw in the towel? And if you know in your gut that it's not, then you'll be willing to entertain whatever's in the realm of possibility to survive.
And maybe one day you'll still make the terrible decision to sew 100 bags with an untested wax canvas that's now leaking onto everything. And it might cost you a fortune to make it right. But did it kill you? No. So keep going. Believe in yourself and remember why you started the thing in the first place.
So if we can leave you with any bit of a spark tonight, it'd be to trust yourself and your instincts in the face of your visualized failure. If you give yourself time to consider your worst case scenario and all of its improbabilities, then you can get back to working on your way less daunting reality.